and the idea was that I would just drive around with it in my car until somebody claimed it.
Hello and welcome to our brand new podcast, Bobcat Timeout. It's first of its kind, ran completely by Marshalltown students. Today, I am joined by
Josh, and we take part in a class called Applied Tech, and for the second semester, we decided that we would run a video podcast.
And our very first guest on this podcast today is
Mr. Wolf.
Why did you guys decide Logan Wolf was your first guest?
We thought that he was kind of somebody that we knew pretty well and somebody that is very involved with the community, so we felt it was right that he was our first guest on the podcast.
What does this building have to connect with Logan Wolf?
So we are in the Orpheum inside the Black Box where state esports is held, and Logan is the state esports coordinator.
Logan, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I am the esports coordinator for the Marshalltown High School. I also sit on the state board as the partnership representative, so I work with companies who back us, whether they be sponsors or want to form partnerships with us so we can have the association readily available to the high schools that are involved.
Is that all you do, or do you do more things?
I do more things. As you see, I have a uniform on. I am the school resource officer at the high school. Prior to doing that, I worked for the Marshalltown Police Department, where I worked patrol for 8 years, and I also served 4 years with the sheriff's office. So been in law enforcement 14 years now.
That's a very long time.
What would you say is like your like duo, like what like motivates you to like keep doing what you're doing?
I like to get the best out of people. You know, if I can do something to help them better themselves or see the light at the end of the tunnel, I want to do that. And this line of work, unfortunately, I see people on their worst day quite often. So let them know that there's hope out there, help out there, and it's just a speed bump on their path.
Yeah.
So do you think for people of your line of work, like I would say like police officers, nurses, doctors, stuff like that, you really have to have like that need of wanting to help people?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Do you think that there are a wide variety of things offered here at MHS?
So I come from a small school, not far from here. That's where I graduated from. And my day one in the Marshalltown School District, it blew my mind. Just the variety of classes that are offered, the variety of programs, clubs, athletics even. We didn't have bowling or swimming at my school, and so just seeing that extra stuff that kids can get involved in, it goes a long ways.
Was esports?
We did not have
esports
esports.
involved?
That was not really a thing yet.
Yeah.
We played video games, and there were some competitive leagues out there that you could be part of, but nothing like it is today. So that's a huge thing for MHS.
Yeah.
What would you say is like your favorite game at esports?
A game that we play, I'm really big into Rocket League. I like watching Rocket League. It's got a huge fan base. I'm not very good at Rocket League compared to some of the high school kids, but my personal favorite we play would be Rainbow Six. I like that a lot, and I'm actually decent at it. So.
Yeah, I think it helps when you're actually kind of good at something, I guess. Yeah.
Do you guys have just like a favorite game in general?
Favorite game that I've probably ever played was Halo 2. I played that competitively growing up and had a lot of comfort and success from that game, so it's got a special place in my heart.
I mean, I was just going to say Minecraft, but I guess you can get into that stuff too.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh?
I just mostly play Fortnite.
What level are you on?
This season,
Yeah.
I think it's like 187.
Bro, I'm on like
Holy cow.
I'm on like 284 right now. It's like really bad. I don't want to talk about it.
I haven't played Fortnite in years, so you guys have got me beat by a long shot.
I don't know. It seems like an on and off game. Like
Yeah, like there's some updates that like you really want to play like the battle passes, but there's some that like you don't want to play at all. And it's also like for me personally, like when I play I get so frustrated because there's some things that I hate about the game. But I keep playing it. So,
Got you hooked, right?
yeah.
So how did you get into coaching esports?
So like I said, I played competitively years ago. And my first day in the high school, again, with all the programs offered, I was walking down the hall with the administrator, and he asked me about if I'd be interested in helping out in esports. And not knowing my background, the first thing I said was, of course, I'd love to. So they took me to the esports arena, kind of gave me the breakdown of it, and I mean, just kind of flourished from there. Shortly after that, I was hired for the position of esports coordinator, and it's all right in its own story now. So,
do you have any coaches you remember when you got into it?
when I got in esports, or when I got just like in general when I was in school?
Kind of just like in general.
Oh, yeah. I remember our football coach, his name's Scott Weeder. He was a huge part of my life. I played football since I was probably in third grade, and just kind of had that mentality of like believing in you. You know, our school wasn't predominantly known for football, but just, you know, always wanted the kids to get better, whether or not they're winning or losing games. Wrestling, I had Todd Heingardner, and I always compare him to Tom or Terry Brands. I mean, just a small little guy, but, you know, 100% effort the whole time. It was just, you know, almost to the fact of like a psychopath, like just wanted the best for you, and he was going to get it tooth and nail for you. Then a baseball coach, I remember Denny Allen. Actually, his wife's employed here at the district, but just loved the sport, baseball, and really taught me about taking things to heart with what you want to be good at. So
Yeah.
So what type of coach do you think you are?
I like to see myself as somebody that you can play a sport, football, baseball, whatever it be, but there's so much more to look at than just that small picture of the sport. A big thing I like to look at is a large percentage of your athletes that play in the high school level don't go on to play in college or don't go pro, right? I mean, that's fair to say. So what skills can you learn from sports? Teamwork, communication. That's something big in esports when we get into diving into team compositions and how things are set up. You're in the heat of the moment on the game, but does your team know what's going on? You use those skills in real life, right? That's my big thing, is that we might be here competing and having a good time, but what are we learning from this? What are we taking from this to better ourselves?
Yeah, I think really like overall communication, or like learning how to communicate with a lot of people at a time, and like being on a level understanding with people is like really important in today's society, especially.
Yeah. And that's part of like today's society. We take that out quite a bit with smartphones and tablets. Everybody's glued to those, and they're communicating in their own way. But then when they really need something that they can't find on their phone, and like you have to do it, hey, what classroom is this in? And you can't look it up. Do they have that ability to communicate with staff or teachers or whatever be? So interpersonal communication, I think, is huge.
Yeah, and I feel like those are skills that you're going to carry on for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win.
Do you have any difficult times you've had during maybe your younger days?
This is going to sound a little corny, but I think one of the most difficult times that I found in my life was graduating high school and moving on. We think of it as a milestone, but it's really a kind of like an end mark to our childhood. Basically, you turn 18, you graduate, and you enter the real world. And some of the stuff that you have to do on the day to day, you can't really learn that in school. You got to be kind of learn yourself. And so, excuse me, if you're not preparing yourself at this time in high school to take on that, it's very difficult to do. Another thing too is I was talking with someone from the athletic department today about students and their engagement in athletics or, esports, whatever it be, and you only get 48 minutes on a football field, or you only get, 9 innings on a baseball field so many times, right? You get 4 years in high school. Don't miss up those opportunities. And whether that's in athletics or choir or band or whatever you want to do, if there's an opportunity there, take it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if I wouldn't have, done the musical or, done the play this year or been, involved in the activities that I've been over, all 4 years, I think I wouldn't have created those relationships, and the relationships meaning my coaches, the things that I even learned, the things that I learned through all those things. I think now, looking back now, I see how important those were to me and, how much I'm going to miss them, because it's so true, because you only get 4 years, and everybody says that it goes by really fast, and it really does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I was in high school yesterday, and it's been, 15 years.
Yeah. So I feel like, enjoy it while you can, because you're never going to be in high school ever again, so.
I feel like especially when you're younger, a lot younger, let's say you're 8 years old and then you become 10, you're like, I can't wait till I'm older.
Yes.
But once you get there, you hit a certain age and then it just goes faster every
I
year.
know, that's lit. I feel like a lot of people on TikTok are talking about that. They're like, oh yeah, you remember when you were little and you were like, I can't wait till I'm this old and I'm in high school.
Well, you remember getting your permit when you're 14, and then, now you think about it, and that was 2 years ago.
I know, it's so crazy.
And that time flies, and, all of a sudden you turn 18 and you're making your own car payments or whatever, and your insurance and all this, and you're like, man, I really wish I was 14 again. I didn't have to worry about this. So,
yeah.
Do you have any funny or interesting stories that might have happened while working here at MHS, whether it be esports or?
I can't think of any at the high school right at the top of my head, but I did have one a few years back. I was working night shift patrol, and you always hear about dog at large calls. In this case, it was a pig, not a dog. And I went out and went to the house that was sitting in the yard, and the sure enough, there was a pig sitting there, and you know, we tried calling the ARL, Animal Rescue League, and they don't take pigs, which, you know, I guess I could kind of guess that. So I asked my lieutenant at the time, what do I do with it, you know? And the idea was that I would just drive around with it in my car until somebody claimed it, and it rode around with me for quite a while. And I made some funny videos with it, and it was a good time. It was a change in my daily routine. Let's put it that way.
The pig became your best friend.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Was it big or was it like?
It was a pretty good sized pig. I think somebody was under the impression that it was like a teacup pig, which those really don't exist.
Yeah.
And it just kept growing and growing, and eventually they didn't know what to do with it. But we found a farmer who ended up taking it, and so.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you name the pig?
I did, and I can't remember what I named it.
Oh,
But
God.
I'll have to look back and see what I named it. But
That's really funny.
So I'm going to read you some questions, and then we're going to do 3, 2, 1, and you're going to thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up is I'm guilty. Thumbs down is I'm not guilty.
Okay.
Thumbs up is I'm guilty. Thumbs down is not guilty.
All right, don't call me out.
Okay. Have you ever, I'm just going to start with real softball ones, easy ones.
Okay.
Have you ever eaten a cookie or food meant for someone else and pretended you didn't know where it went?
Yes. It was really good.
Did you ever pretend to be on the phone to avoid talking to someone you saw in public?
Yes.
Have you ever laughed at a joke you didn't really understand just to fit in? Did you ever borrow a pen from someone and accidentally keep it?
yep.
Accidentally, yes. I would never do.
Ooh, thumbs
Okay.
down for Josh. Oh, we got an honest boy over there. Have you ever watched a TV series for hours, telling yourself you'll only watch one more episode?
Yes.
For sure.
Stranger Things, I did that.
Did you ever use the excuse, my pet ate my homework, when you actually forgot to do it?
No.
Oh, nobody did that one. Okay. Have you ever tried to discreetly sniff your armpits in public to check if you smell?
No.
Wearing all this gear and working hot conditions, I mean, you gotta.
Did you ever laugh at a meme or a joke on your phone in public, then quickly pretend you were just looking at something else?
Yes.
Yeah.
I laugh at my memes whenever I want to.
You just laugh out loud and don't care if
You should see me
anybody's.
in the halls.
I was like, what are you
Oh,
laughing
I'm
at?
okay.
very loud when I laugh.
Have you ever sung in the shower and pretended you were performing at a concert?
I don't know about performing.
Yeah, I don't know about
I
performing, yeah.
definitely sang in the shower
But definitely
before.
singing, yeah.
Did you ever secretly enjoy a song or a movie that you claim to dislike just to fit in with your friends' tastes?
No.
Not to fit in with my
I don't
friends,
think so.
but
You have
I
pretended
have
to like a
denied
movie.
a song.
You've denied a song?
I denied a song that I liked. Can't keep
Okay.
quiet.
All right, that's all I have. Is there any that you guys can think of?
I don't know.
All right. So
What
we
about-
just want to thank Mr. Wolf for coming in for the second time.
Yes.
To get this podcast put down, and we're gonna keep getting better and better at this. I think this time drastically improved. You guys all agree?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just because we didn't have time to test it or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's a lot harder to carry on a conversation when there's lights and cameras and microphones and expectations, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you get used to it, you know, like when you first start and then it's like 2 minutes later, it's like, it feels like a whatever thing.
I just think
At
like
least
6 weeks from now, you'll be doing it, no problem at all. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I think this program and what we're doing right now shows that MHS has a lot of opportunities, and this will help you further in your career if you guys go into this field. So thank you.
Yeah, thank
Awesome.
you.
Thanks again.